narrative that Hassan is trying to paint, saying like, oh, all these platforms are dominated by the right. No, bro. They've been censoring us. Dude, if you question the election, if you question the vaccine, if you question mask mandates, any of that shit, it was a ban. Hassan is 100% wrong. Let's have fun with this. Let's look at loser Hassan Abi, what he got to say. Switch this shit up. He's like the polar opposite of me.
Every single social media platform in the United States of America is incredibly slanted to the right. Now, one of the things that I want to say, one of the things that
Bro, I come in within 10 seconds, this nigga's already lying.
Saw.
Bro, no.
This is, you know, a lot of people are saying this now. A lot of people are posting stuff like this. I don't know the veracity of this, but TikTok is now region locking Americans from looking up things like fascism, Donald Trump rigged the election. On the left are results from a device in America. On the right are results from the UK. This might be fake. I don't think this is like, this is... All these people are immediately rushing to this.
Dude, Hassan,
like, I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
Social media companies absolutely lean left. Are you fucking kidding me? The reason why people are more right now is because they're tired of the fucking censorship, bro.
I'm looking up fascism and it's showing up. I don't know why people are saying that it's not showing up. I tried it. It's not.
Like, bro, what are you talking about, man?
Donald Trump rigged election. Yeah, it's working.
See, this is, funny. I come in here within 10 seconds, I already disagree with this fucking guy. Me and him are literally polar opposites. The only thing me and Hassan agree on is Israel. But he dislikes Israel for humanitarian reasons. I dislike it for both humanitarian reasons and for nationalist reasons because they are our government. That's a big problem that I have with them from a nationalism standpoint. They our foreign policy, which I got in a whole debate with Tim Pool with, actually, which there's a clip up right now for you guys if you guys want to go ahead and check it out on my channel, which I'm going to be posting a lot better content on there with clips of shit. But, bro, ever since, I'll say, like, 2015, there's been enormous censorship, right? And I would argue that after January 6th, it got even worse, okay? After Trump got banned and a lot of other creators got banned in 2020, 2021, a majority of people that got hit with problems were right-wing creators. And Twitter used to be super liberal, too. So this, like, oh, the right is controlled by social media, it controls social media. That's not true. It's overcorrection for all the bullshit over the past several years of censorship. And the thing is this, like, we still deal with it now. Like, we're still dealing with it. Like, Sneako's still banned on YouTube. Twitch is still banning people for no fucking reason. Like, we're still dealing with the censorship. Zuckerberg hasn't really, he says that he's gonna become more freedom of expression, but is he really? So, no, bro, the left has absolutely dominated social media. You make way more money being a liberal than being a conservative. That's a fucking fact, bro. Come on, man. Way more.
There's no deboosting on that stuff, okay?
Because your content is gonna be ad-friendly, which means you'll be able to make money. So let's assume you don't get as many views. Let's assume that not as many people are going to watch you. It doesn't matter because since more people like to watch right-wing content, it's not that it doesn't change because you're still going to be monetized more, even though you get less views. This is why, like, financial channels, you look at like a financial channels, a lot of the times they don't get nearly the same amount of views as other channels, but they get more money. Why? Because they're advertiser safe. If you lean to the left, you will be advertiser safe in 99% of situations. Let's assume you're liberal, but you support Israel. Yo, you're cooking. You're printing money. You're printing money. And you're not going to get canceled. If you're pro-gay rights, you're pro-anti-racism, you're pro-DEI, you're pro-affirmative action, you're pro-black, you're pro-Hispanic, you're pro-everything except for pro-white, you will print fucking money being on social media. You'll be able to exist on platforms like TikTok. You'll be able to exist on platforms like YouTube with zero issues. You'll be able to exist on platforms like Instagram, Meta, etc. You will be fine. So if you're a big left-wing political commentator, you will make money. You will fucking kill it. You will kill it. And you'll be safe to be platformed on other places. Look at Destiny. That's actually, you know what? Hold on. That's a good example. Look at Destiny. Destiny is able to go and debate conservatives while simultaneously maintaining a strong regular audience that watches him, right? And diverse too. Like a lot of women watch him, etc. So he's able to kind of pull from both sides. He's the only liberal that actually goes in and debates conservatives. But he doesn't need to do that. If he just streamed by himself like this guy does all the fucking time and just gave his own commentary, no debates, no nothing, he would do fine, right? And here's the thing too. Destiny says crazy shit about like Muslims and other stuff. Like you could consider him almost like a rogue liberal. Like a rogue liberal. He says crazy shit, but he doesn't get banned. He's only got banned off Twitch, and Twitch is pussy. But everywhere else, he'll be fine. Being a left-wing political commentator is far more financially advantageous and safe. And I think Destiny's a great example of that, where he can go ahead and say shit about Muslims and everything else like that, and nothing happens, right? So And again, I like Destiny. Me and him disagree on a lot, but I like the guy.
Whenever you see a narrative, whenever you see something, okay, that
But Hassan is 100% wrong saying that social media is controlled by the right. No, it's not, dude.
should always do is check yourself and be as critical as you possibly can be.
Like libs control TikTok, for example. Liberals absolutely control TikTok.
I do think that Show, the TikTok CEO, and TikTok in general absolutely boosted Charlie Kirk. I've talked about this before. And I think the reason why they did that is because they thought if they boost Charlie Kirk has Trump's ear, and he will say nice things about TikTok, and he will talk about how TikTok is wonderful for making the youth more right-wing. I do believe that. This is something that I have talked about quite a bit. And actually, as far as it stands, it was a successful gambit. Now, having said that, will they continue doing that? Probably. I don't know. TikTok, as far as I have seen from my own personal anecdotes, but also from like some of the relatively shitty media analysis that is readily available, TikTok is the only social media platform that has parity in terms of political ideology. Every other platform is dominated and slanted to the right. Every single one. Right?
No, that is not
TikTok
true.
is the only platform where there is some semblance of parity.
Yo, this guy is delusional.
This is important to acknowledge. But that doesn't mean that there isn't right-wing content on that platform. Of course there is.
Bro.
Of course there is, right? And I think one of the best arguments that I saw about this, one of the best warnings that I saw came from, what's his name? Is it Garrett Hayes or Garrison Hayes?
We'll let him get it out, chat, then we'll respond. He is so wrong right now.
One of the best videos I saw on this. Here, I want you to watch this because I think it's a pretty solid take. Let's take a look.
To have a wrong opinion on a day like today, this is the worst possible day to have a bad opinion because you won't get a chance to fix it tomorrow. But have you considered...
Why are people in here accepting the liberal framing that TikTok is a communist app? Weakest Ugobnik enjoyer. I don't think people are accepting that TikTok is a communist app. I think people are simply looking at the situation and recognizing that TikTok is one of the only social media platforms where there have been opportunities for like actually leftist, communist, socialist, and very progressive people in building a platform. Okay, and I think that is part of the reason why people think that, you know, here, just let my man.
Chat, I'm gonna let my
man Garrison do the talking.
Let's see what this nigga got to say.
That a lot of your political enemies want to save TikTok. Like the right-wing propaganda machine known as Turning Point USA bragged that they were doing 60 million views a day leading up to the election, like this just this past election cycle, on TikTok alone. If there is anyone who understands the impact of getting that many views per day, it is your soon-to-be president, Donald J. Trump, the man who actively lobbied the Supreme Court to save this app. If you were one of the many people who were wondering why so many young people were turning toward the right, especially in this past election, it is at least in part because while your side of the algorithm is gender justice and free Palestine, there is another side of the algorithm. And it isn't made up of a small number of people. There are a ton of people on that other side of the algorithm. It is essentially a full-blown hate crime factory. Like, it's just convincing people to hate other people constantly. And I think the political enemies of the marginalized know this. They did the calculations and are trying to preserve this thing, this app, because they think it provides them with a strategic advantage in the long run. Maybe just in general. Clearly, it was some strategic advantage just this past cycle. Listen, I love TikTok. This app literally changed my life. I met some amazing people through this app. You all who follow me are incredible, and I hope you'll come subscribe on YouTube. But this is just something to consider, like who stands to benefit the most from a power perspective from this place. And
so I don't disagree with this. I think that it's important to also recognize this aspect of it, because on the one hand, while TikTok still has some semblance of parity, ideological parity, that still means that there is a steady flow of insane right-wing nonsense on there, okay? And I do think that right-wingers understand the value that TikTok gives them in terms of propaganda, the value that TikTok offers them in terms of yet another platform where they can supercharge their right-wing propaganda, reactionary content that creates loyal soldiers for the Republican Party and creates loyal soldiers for the reactionary movement in general. Okay, it doesn't have to actually make, for example, young men, right, into people that are card-carrying Republican Party voters. That's not the project. The project is, as long as they are apolitical but right-wing in a lot of these like key issues, they can be captured. Their attention can always be captured, and their anger and resentment can always be weaponized. And I do think that that's important to recognize, and it goes along with something that I've been warning about quite a bit in terms of like how right-wing young male spaces look like nowadays. And TikTok, just like every other platform, TikTok is not alone in this, and TikTok is far from the worst platform on this issue. YouTube is terrible for this. Okay, Twitter is obviously the worst one out of all of them. Facebook doesn't really have a lot of young people,
Twitter,
but Facebook is also very right wing as well. Like
No, it's
all
not.
of the social, all of the social media platforms that we use.
Okay, yo, I gotta cook. See, here's the thing, right? So Hassan doesn't fucking get it because he's a left-wing political commentator. So he doesn't understand how bad censorship is for people on the right. He's using fucking Charlie Kirk as an example of pushing right-wing propaganda. Bro, Charlie Kirk is like safe, pro-Israel, typical GOP talking points. Okay, if you're gonna use fucking Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, right, as like your main people to say, oh, like the right wing is dominating your thing, like that's not really right wing, bro. That's like conservative light, if I'm going to be all the way honest with you guys, right? And the other thing, too, I acknowledge that him and this other guy didn't acknowledge is like, notice how they didn't thank President Trump for saving TikTok for them. You guys fucking notice that shit? Like, not once did I hear this Garrison Hayes motherfucker thank Donald Trump for saving fucking TikTok. Because I'll tell you this, it wasn't fucking Biden. Even TikTok themselves, when you logged in, what did they say? Oh, we are down right now, but President Trump is working to get us back up. And then they got back up and they thanked Donald Trump. Oh, well, they pushed Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk has Trump's ear. Well, what you don't know, Hassan, because you're on the left and you live in your echo chamber, is that Charlie Kirk got banned off TikTok several times. He's been banned off TikTok several times. That's why he actually advocated for TikTok to get banned when Trump originally was going to do the executive order back on August 6, 2020. Oh, yeah, I remember. August 6, 2020, Trump signed an executive order to get rid of TikTok back then as Chinese spyware. But then, opinions could change, right? TikTok was instrumental in getting a lot of young people to vote for Trump. But that does not refute the point that TikTok is overwhelmingly controlled by the left, okay? And here's the other thing, too, because I'm tired of people giving fucking Charlie Kirk credit for this. Look, I don't got a problem with Charlie Kirk, but if we're going to be real, and this is the realest shit that no one will ever fucking admit, y'all want to know who's responsible for red pilling the youth? It's Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate, and fucking Sneeko. That's what they won't fucking tell you. The people that are really responsible for red pilling the fucking youth and making them be conservative are Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, and Sneeko. Those are the three guys that fucking brought the youth to the right. It's not Charlie Kirk. It's not Ben Shapiro. It's not Daily Wire. It's not Steven Crowder. It's not Dan Bongino. It's none of these guys. It's not Benny Johnson. Not even me. Those three are the ones that brought people to the right wing. Those three. Maybe myself to a lesser degree. You can also add Aiden Ross in there because Aiden Ross platformed Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate and exposed them to an enormous amount of the youth, especially when he did those streams with Andrew Tate before he got banned everywhere. So I don't want to hear shit about, oh, TikTok poisoned the youth and TikTok is overwhelmingly right-wing. No, all the biggest right-wing guys that influence the youth are banned. They're banned. Me, Sneeko, Andrew, Nick Fuentes, we're all banned on TikTok, and we're banned for years. The only way you're going to find us is other people post our shit. That's the only way. And I don't think Tate, Nick, Sneeko, I don't think enough guys get enough credit, right? Aiden Ross for platforming Tate and bringing them out to the masses. I don't think enough people give these guys credit for red pilling the youth. It wasn't Charlie Kirk, guys. It definitely wasn't Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's been doing this a long ass time, and the young people didn't vote Republican back then. That's not what it is. Now, did he help? Of course. But if we're going to talk about people that actually brought young men to the right, it wasn't those guys. Because guess what, bro? This is another controversial take. You're not going to bring the youth over just being like super like Christian and Republican. Sorry, you're not going to bring them. The thing with Tate is he appeals to the young guys because he has the look, he's a former fighter, he's in good shape, he speaks well, he has a bunch of chicks, he shows a certain lifestyle. That's how you entice the young men to come on over and want to listen to what you got to say. Now, some of you guys might say, oh, but Nick doesn't do all that. He's super Christian. He has like a based young audience. Yeah, but that's because Nick is willing to talk about controversial topics other people don't. So he has that edge factor, right? So the thing with guys like Charlie Kirk and Bongino and all these other guys is they're safe. They're safe. They're clean. They're safe. They're Christian. They don't have super controversial takes. But Andrew Tate and Nick do. Though Nick is religious and a Catholic, he still talks about you know who and is banned everywhere. So that edginess gives him a level of appeal. Andrew Tate, edgy as well, gives that level of appeal. Sneeko, edgy as well, gives that level of appeal. Myself, maybe to a lesser degree, because most of my audience is actually above 18. The majority of my audience is between 24 to 40, like early to mid-20s to 40. That's the majority of my audience. But if we're going to talk about guys that are 18 below, the teenagers, yeah, bro, all day. That's Tate, Nick, Sneeko, Ada Ross. And that's Ada Ross for platforming Tate. Dude, they used to do streams and they'd have 150,000 watching on fucking Twitch live. I remember. And then on top of that, Andrew was everywhere. You couldn't avoid Andrew. He was all over TikTok. He was the most Googled man on earth in 2022. That's what red pilled the youth, guys. They had to ban him everywhere because his influence was too strong. He had kids running around saying, what color is your Bugatti? Between the TikTok takeover and being on Ada Ross's streams, huge. Then, Sneeko, also huge. A lot of young people watch him. And then Nick Fuentes got unbanned on Twitter, fucking skyrocketed. Because he had been suppressed for so long. So this narrative that Hassan is trying to paint, saying like, oh, all these platforms are dominated by the right. No, bro. There's only two platforms that are dominated by the right. Twitter and Rumble. That's it. Because this is how I'm going to refute you, Hassan, right now. If YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. was dominated by the right like you claim, there would be no need for Rumble or X. One more time. If YouTube, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, TikTok, etc., if all these normie platforms were dominated by the right like you say, there would be no fucking need for Rumble or X under Elon Musk. That's the fucking truth. The fact that Rumble and Twitter exist in the first place proved my point. Rumble was made to deal with the massive censorship that YouTube practices. Let's speak facts. There would be no Rumble if YouTube actually pushed Republicans. They don't. At all. At all. Some of the biggest right-wing creators are banned on fucking YouTube. Bongino and Crowder. They had the most live viewers during the election. Guess where they weren't? On fucking YouTube. Crowder's demonetized and Bongino's completely banned. Those are the two biggest live streamers in the conservative space by far. So if you're going to come in and say, oh, the social media is dominated by the right. No, it's not, dude. Not at all. Not at all. Yo, Twitch, for example. Name one right-wing political commentator on Twitch. Name one. I tried. I got banned immediately for off-platform behavior. Oh my God. Twitch, dominated by the left. YouTube, dominated by the left. TikTok, definitely dominated by the left. You could go in and say, oh, well, YouTube is easing up now on Republicans. That's fine. But for years, they've been censoring us. Dude, if you question the election, if you question the vaccine, if you question mask mandates, any of that shit, it was a ban. Like an automatic ban or a strike. And these are all right-wing, as they would call conspiracy theories, which we ended up finding out later that they were fucking true. Misinformation is what they used to label it under. So no, bro, get the fuck out of here with that, man. And Hassan's been saying this shit for months, that we have the radicalization of young men on social media platforms becoming right-wing, etc. No, bro, no, we don't. Because all the biggest right-wing people get banned all the time. They get banned. That's why platforms like Rumble and X exist in the first place. Every big right-wing political commentator has dealt with censorship to some degree. And the ones that influence the youth get banned even more so. The reason why they don't go after Kirk and some of these guys as badly is because they're clean. They're clean, and they don't criticize you-know-who. The only reason you still exist, right, is while criticizing them boys, is because you're on the left. If you're right-wing and you criticize them boys, absolutely cooked. Cooked. If you criticize them boys and you are right-wing, you are cooked, bro. Cooked. The only people that can exist that are critical of Israel and be on major platforms are guys on the left. That's why you didn't get banned off Twitch yet, but I did. I mean, what more proof do you need? Despite the ADO running an entire campaign to get you deplatformed, you're still on Twitch. That proves my point. Left-wing creators are protected to a way higher extent than right-wing creators. Way more.